Hey, Chris.
Relief floods the hearts of family and friends of these four filmmakers thanks to outrage unleashed by Kenyans. Yesterday, reports swirled about these four filmmakers getting arrested under unclear circumstances over the BBC documentary Blood Parliament. Brian Adagala, Chris Wamai, Mark Karubui and Nick Wambugu met their arrest yesterday on Friday night. The police arrested them and also took their equipment and hard drives. They were booked for false publications in different police stations, and activists who've been following up on the matter believe that all of this was because of the BBC documentary. Upon their arrest, the filmmakers were separated into two groups. Two of them were taken to Muthaiga police station, whereas the other two were taken to Pangani police station, and they were booked for false publications. However, no charges were placed on them. This is all according to, again, activists who are at the forefront on following up on the matter, one of them being Boniface Mwangi. And even though they were arrested reportedly over the BBC documentary, Boniface Mwangi, the activist, claims that these filmmakers did not partake in the making of this documentary in any way. His tweet after the arrest said the police have arrested three filmmakers, Nicholas Wambugu, Brian Adagala, Mark Denver and Chris Wamai, at their offices at Karen Village. The police confiscated their equipment and hard drives. One of them managed to make a call and said they have been split into two groups, one headed to Pangani police station and the other to Muthaiga. The arrested filmmakers didn't film or contribute to Blood Parliament, and they weren't told the reason for their arrest. The arrest was obviously the last thing Kenyans needed. After the BBC documentary, everyone was at the forefront of calling for justice for those who were rained bullets on by certain officers, as we saw in the documentary. However, we've seen the opposite of that reaction from the leaders and from the political class, with certain leaders and MPs criticizing openly the documentary and then subsequently the arrest of these filmmakers. Here are some of the reactions that Kenyans online gave to the reports that these filmmakers had been arrested. Apparently in Kenya, owning a camera is more dangerous than owning offshore accounts. In Kenya, truth has to sneak out in a whisper while lies hold press conferences. We've clearly mistaken creativity for crime. How? We pay members of parliament to do oversight, a job they clearly have neglected. Kenya is being run by the law of man. They must now face us and tell us why they refuse to hold Ruto to account. This cannot continue unchecked. Police are being misused again. They want to confirm whether Kenyans are angry enough. This government has no idea what they have just done. Comrades, journalism is not a crime. Blood Parliament is the story of June 25th, a day when blood was spilled at Kenya's parliament and the state tried to silence the truth. We can't keep quiet when one of us is missing. Make some noise, share widely. Bowing to this pressure, those behind the arrest finally decided to let the filmmakers go, and they were released today morning. We started with a clip of them interacting with relatives and friends after their release. This goes to show that activism in Kenya is working. Kenyans have been joining hands to raise their voices and address certain societal issues, including this and many others. And we've seen some response, and we've seen that joining together and raising our voices actually does work. This is a very good example. The other recent example that we have is the story of Aviator. We were having activists frontlining the Aviator story and sharing experiences from Kenyans, up to the point when the betting and licensing board finally responded and took action. So this reminds us that umoja ni nguvu. Let me know what you think about this, more so about the activism in Kenya right now. And thank you for watching this video. Keep it here on BNN for more updates.